What's going on? Y'all know what it is. What's going on? I'm back once again. Welcome to the franchise. It's the franchise guy. Back for volume 4, episode 4. Let's get it. Let's get into it. I know it's been a little minute. I'm going to try and catch up with everything, I wasn't really able to get all the way into all that action the past couple of weeks in the league, but you already. It's all good, I'm still tuned in, chatting with what's going on. You don't know what the fuck it is. We're still winning, looking on point. Who's really the flops, who's really, looking interesting or, looking crazy and, falling off and shit. But, I want to start this off and get into it for volume 4. Let me get into it right now and first start off with the Rams-Vikings game from week 8 that kicked everything off, man. I think, from when I saw this matchup coming on the schedule last week, I had a good feeling that it was going to be a great matchup and an interesting game. I ain't going to hold you. I put a little bet up, that both QBs was going to have 2 TDs plus. I knew that. I knew that was going to hit for sure. I knew that was a sure bet for me. Because it just looked like a good matchup, between the 2 teams, the 2 quarterbacks and everything. And they were playing in LA. So, it was for sure a good matchup for both the QBs, both offenses, even the defenses also made plays. But yeah, I want to say this from what I was able to catch from the game, the pieces that I caught. Stafford and Darnold, they both did their thing for Thursday Night Football, From what I was peeping, from what I was able to catch at the time, that boy McVay still looking like that boy Wonder with the scheming of the offense to get shit in motion, against a real tough defense. You know what I mean? So, D-Flow's defense has been exotic and tough to figure out all season for a lot of opponents, and they still made a couple plays with some turnovers and everything in that game. I think the young boy Byron Murphy, he had a pick and made a couple nice plays, I believe, on defense. But yeah, the Rams offense, they played and executed a nice scheme with, running the ball, line up in some basic formations to kind of slow Minnesota's exotic look. So, that was a good look for them where they were just running the ball efficiently. They got things going. They made their plays, and they kind of slowed down, Minnesota's defense that been turning up crazy all season so far. So, then you add the element of, they got their best guys on the outside back. You know what I mean? The outside and the inside, both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, you got them back in the mix now from injury. So you got niggas in motion making them plays for real. So, it was definitely a good look for the Rams offense. And also the Rams had some guys on the other side of the ball that were making some plays, I believe, too. They had both the young bulls out there. You had Jared Verse, Byron Murphy. They flashed and popped out a bit. So that was a good look for them. So it wasn't just all about the offense. But, yeah, from what I was seeing, the Rams offense, McVay had them in motion. You had Kyron Williams running in between the tackles, doing some running plays, some tosses and everything, lining up in I formation sometimes, offset I. Nice basic formations, but switching it up and trying to keep it balanced, trying to distribute the ball. I believe DeMarcus Robinson got in the mix a lot also. He had a touchdown, maybe 2. But spreading the ball to those 3 receivers there and mixing up with the run to kind of slow down an exotic defense like Minnesota's and everything. I think that's what you got to do. If you keep executing and being efficient, having an efficient offense, knowing what you want to do, and dictate what you want to do and everything, you could beat a tough defense like that. On the other side, the Vikings, they definitely played a good game on offense too. I think Sammy had a couple of people that maybe let him down a bit too. I know for sure I remember a play where he was trying to make some shape avoiding some pressure and try to throw in a run to Jacob Naylor, who, shit, he was wide open. He could have just ran 3 steps and tripped in the end zone. You know what I mean? It was wide open. He was wide open. This nigga dropped the ball. Sammy trying to make something shake. He evading pressure. He on the run a little bit. Looked like he's going to take off and run, but you got a defender in pursuit right there. But Jacob Naylor was wide open, right, and the end zone was right there. All he had to do was catch it and just run right in. Like I said, he could have tripped in there. He could have, took a couple steps and tripped in there, and that was a touchdown. We had to settle for a field goal. But, yeah, I think there were a couple other miscues I might have seen later on in the game. But despite all that, they were still able to keep that offense in motion for real. Sammy still had a good game. Sam Darnold still had a really efficient and solid game there. So, that was a good look for them. The defense, though, they got figured out a little bit, for Minnesota. But they still showed that they could keep shit moving. But all I want to say also, another thing I want to say, that's a small but, to how that game finished. The final score was 30-20. But in the end, I believe at the time in the fourth quarter, like 28-20, Vikings had the ball in their own territory. That last play for the safety where niggas took Sam Darnold's face off. Like, took his face off. You could see it clearly. Everybody could see it on TV, on camera, everything. You know what I mean? No one cares about, we got to go to replay, this, that, whatever. Like, that shit was clear as day. Niggas seen that shit. And no flags. None. Like, that shit was crazy. So, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I can't be mad that Sam Darnold has something to say about that, in the end. He's a veteran in the league. Even though he bounced around, shit didn't work out all the way how it's supposed to with him being a top pick. But the way he's been playing and him being a vet, and everybody seen that clear today, he could talk that shit and be like, yo, fuck, the fuck was that with the call? So that not being a flag, I think was wild, crazy, and kind of fucked up there, because to me, watching as a fan and seeing the matchup was good. They were going back and forth a little bit, defense and offenses on both sides battling each other really well. It was a really good matchup. It would have been real interesting to see if that will go down to the wire. Maybe, they complete the long drive. Maybe go for 2, force OT. That could have been real lit. I mean, it was still a great game to watch, but at least let that go, like, with that flag be called there instead of all this other bullshit they be calling illegal. They want to call legal formation every fucking time. Every time it's legal formation, somebody's back heel is not set by a couple centimeters, legal formation. A nigga's head tilted forward while he got lined up in motion, illegal formation, and all this other shit that they want to call so much so, but you can't call that to keep things interesting. You rather call that other miscellaneous bullshit that make the game fucking boring or annoying for fans to watch and all that shit. I know niggas is tired of that shit for sure, because it's some bullshit. But, I'm not saying that it would have been guaranteed that, Sam Darnold and Jay Jettas and them in the offense would have scored. Not saying that was guaranteed, but it would have been interesting to see the game more ending that way, where you could see if they can do it. If they can make the opportunity out of a long drive and try and score, and then also the defense on the other side with the Rams, they were playing good, Obviously, they made the play where they got pressure for the safety, even though it was a penalty still. But, it would have been cool to see the play that they probably would have made to end the game, instead of a ref probably fucking up again, you know what I mean? And like, it was a shit where the refs do the dumb shit they usually do and maybe call a phantom pass interference, but you miss a call like that where it's just, I feel like that one was right, but I'm not one to complain about the refs too crazy like that, so I'm gonna just let that shit rock for real. But yeah, that could have been lit. That could have been lit, and it was it was still a really fun matchup to see, you know. Now, for the rest of Week 8 in the NFL, I'm gonna get into it a bit. A lot of interesting finishes, man. A lot of good down to the wire, interesting finishes to the game. As a fan of the NFL, that's what you like to see. You like to see a lot of games that finish out like that. Great battles back and forth for like maybe the whole second half of the game. I feel like it was some games in the beginning that started off a little bit slow. They were still a little bit tight, or they just looked like they were going to be a dud. But the second half, shit turned up and got a little bit crazy. Still ended off tight. One of them that started and finished pretty good, of course, the Bucks and the Falcons. They always play each other really tight, and it's always really entertaining to watch. Always a good watch there, no matter who's playing, whether they got stars all around or they're both, top 10, top 15 eligible picks in the draft. You know what I mean? Those type of rosters, it's still interesting to watch throughout the past few seasons. But yeah, a lot of good, interesting finishes between all the teams that played today, for the most part. But the shit that's crazy, though, is that last-minute Hail Mary from the real Rookie of the Year QB, that nigga Jaden Daniels, against Caleb Williams, overhyped, goofy ass. What? But shit, nah. Let's get back to that Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels. First of all, let me say this, man. I've been keeping an eye on the young Bulls game for a little while now, since he was at Arizona State, right? I believe he started as a true freshman or redshirt freshman, something like that, when Herm Edwards was around. I like this talent. I like this arm. He could run around a little bit, do his thing. There was a time in the beginning where it seemed like he could only throw a deep ball. You didn't really see like levels to his game yet. He had the potential, but you didn't see levels to his game yet, throwing kind of the different levels of the field, maybe just a little bit here and there. But he only had a deep ball, and that deep ball was beautiful every single time at Arizona State. Always had a nice deep ball. He could throw the fade route, non-route, whatever you want to call it, to any receiver and put it right where it needs to be. Good touch, good, strength, arm strength and distance on it. And it's good to see that he still carried that through his years at Arizona State to transfer to LSU and now in the league, which is really fun to see. It's cool to see that. I caught a little highlight where he had a throw like that to Terry McLaurin. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, that boy still got it. But seeing this shit right here, I know it was tipped, but that's the good thing when you're able to, when you got that arm strength, as small as he looks, and all the questions that people had about him before the year before he came out of the draft, maybe the year he came out at the draft, and while he definitely for sure when he was at Arizona State and transferred, a lot of questions and stuff. I know he looked skinny, his size, this, that, whatever, but I peeped that he always had arm strength. But seeing that's what happens when you got arm strength, you got touching the ball, you're elusive, you can run around in the pocket at the last second. That shit was crazy, though, the last second, because I was watching the fourth quarter of the game, and I seen Caleb Williams have his little drive and shit, made his little plays. And the crazy shit to me is when I turned it on at that time, I couldn't believe my ears. I thought my ears was broken or something. Because what I think I heard Tony Romo say, or whoever the fuck, say the whole first 3 quarters of the game, this nigga Caleb Williams only threw for like 38 yards or some stupid shit like that. And I'm like, what? I know I seen the score and all that, but I was like, nah, hold up, man. That's all you got? That's all you got right now? Like, you only got 38 yards passing, and you're the number 1 pick versus number 2 pick. You won the Heisman, he won the Heisman. You know what I'm saying? Y'all supposed to be doing y'all thing. You know, you supposed to be so ill, how niggas hyped you and shit. You only got 38 yards passing going to the fourth quarter, but I seen you on your drive. You had a nice little drive. You doing your thing. You back. I think it was in Washington. I think he's from there, that area in D.C. So he was feeling good after that drive, flexing, puffing his chest. I'm like, all right, it's on like whatever seconds left. It's a dub, whatever, whatever. Good for him. He had a nice fourth quarter and won in his hometown. I'm like, all right, fuck it. I go to the store. I'm like, all right, let me get ready, get my shit. Go to the store, get ready for this Dallas 49ers game, right? Come back. I'm seeing notices come on my phone. Washington, Hail Mary, Washington 6-2. I'm like, Washington. I think I'm reading it wrong. Like, nah, Chicago, whatever, 6-2 now, or 5-2 now, whatever the fuck. I started looking at the fucking highlight. This nigga Jaden Daniels with the Hail Mary, rainbow throw. Niggas don't bat shit down. The most unlikeliest nigga named to call for a pass that long for a touchdown. It gets tipped right into his hands. He just standing there chilling. Noah Brown. Touchdown. Even after he makes the catch, he don't even seem hype. He on some like Kawhi Leonard type shit, which is funny. But that's dope though. Like, nigga knew he was cold. Like, yo, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? But that was good to see. That was a wild finish. To finish a game like that and get a W in the last second. On the last second Hail Mary throw. That shit was good to see. And I be lying to you. I don't keep it a buck. I be lying to you if I said it didn't feel that much sweeter. That was Jaden Daniels that beat Caleb Williams. I like Jaden Daniels. Like I previously was talking about, I kind of watched his game through the levels of his career from collegiate to now. So it's fun to see him doing his thing. It's still, of course, his rookie, so it's still the jury's out to see what his career is going to be like, but it's cool to see. I mean, same thing with Caleb Williams. Not going to lie, even his days from Oklahoma to USC, I still don't see it or couldn't see it consistently. He has flashes. He has good games. I seen him do some shit where I was like, okay, that's what's up. Like, he doing his thing. But sometimes I can't see it. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say I'm all the way right on that yet, that I'm not going to say a bust, but maybe a flop. Maybe just aight, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's still early. He could fuck around and have a great second half to his season this year and have a great start and finish to his career next year. And it could be the opposite for Jaden Daniels or vice versa, you know what I mean? So, but I'm just going to say it's obvious that I like Jaden Daniels more. I just fuck with his game a little more, you know what I mean? A little bit more on point, a little bit more swagged out, a little bit more calm. You know what I mean? That's the type of game niggas like to watch. So, but yeah, as far as that, in the same breath, a lot of those wild finishes or last second, last minute, final quarter finishes. And speaking on that, all of the matchups that I seen for the slate today look really good. I had a feeling a lot of those top half games were gonna be tight to the very end, and I believe almost all of them, most of them, if not all of them, ended really close to the very end. So shit was crazy today. I like to see games like that. Two good matchup teams, tough opponents, and everything like that, and it actually goes down to, actually kind of, goes down to the wire and everything. So it's fun to see points being scored, but also both sides competing, not just all offense, but a little bit of defense trying to make some plays. It's just, hey, some days both offenses are just clicking, doing their thing. Or some people, some days one side of the ball is able to take advantage of more opportunities than the other wild strikes, But it's really fun to see games that are important and have significance all the way to the end, instead of being a blowout or it gets a little boring at the end, or even worse, I know I say I don't do this. I don't want to complain about officiating. That's not. I don't want to be that person right now. But worse when there's some suspect phantom calls from the refs that be fucking up the fourth quarter or the third quarter and should get out of hand. Nobody want to see that shit. We more want to see games like similar to today. So let me just go ahead and run through them a little bit right quick. Browns Ravens 29-24 Browns. I mean, leave it up to the Ravens to have their annual mid-season-ish divisional loss to a bottom team in their division or a team like the Browns that they should beat but are tough. Tough. Good win for the Browns with J-Bo and a tough defense. I from what I was able to catch watching the game, because I believe I watched the whole second half of that game. From what I was watching, points were scored, but the Browns defense, they were playing Lamar pretty good for the most part, kind of keeping him bottled up. Lamar's still gonna do what he do, throwing and running the ball, but they played a pretty nice scheme, keeping things inside out for the most part as far as the front line on the edge. In the secondary too, they were covering and they had some nice schemes that were making it a little bit difficult for Lamar to just pull the trigger when he wanted, if he wanted something deep, even though he did get some of those plays. But it all didn't come easy. You seen some plays where Lamar had to hold the ball a little bit longer than he wanted to and had to really think about if he wanted to make this throw or that throw. Still made hit plays because he Lamar. You know what I mean? He that nigga. But I think that I think that from what I've seen, the Browns did play a nice little scheme to kind of make this a little bit tougher than it had to be for the Ravens. So like I was saying, leave it to the Ravens to have that annual loss to a team like the Browns that play them tough. Browns got the win with Jay going a tough defense. Lamar also, speaking on that, he had a good amount of his dogs today on the team that let him down too. I mean, shaking my fucking head. Like, Bateman dropped pass, and that was the play that I felt like, I was like, oh yeah, now it's going to put him over the top. It's going to put him over the top there, and they're going to start marching in to take this lead now and, close the game out. Bateman, wide open, drop pass. Like, all right, taking it back to that, like, rookie year, second year Bateman. Like, these drops that you need, or it's like, why are you even dropping that, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was an easy one. I know it looked like he was doing a C route, and then he turned back around to adjust, so I understand maybe a little bit of the stumble, but get your hands ready, man. I know the sun was there, you got the visor on, this, that, whatever, but nah, man. That was lobbed up there. That was a layup. Like, get your hands ready, man. Get your fucking hands ready. You got to make that play, man. You got, especially at that point in the game, and you see what Lamar was doing to help get you open, to help y'all both have an opportunity to take y'all over the top to win the game and close it out. But, it is what it is. So, you got that. Bateman dropped pass. Hamilton dropped the interception. I mean, how many times can you drop an interception at one time? It looked like he dropped the shit like fucking 6 times in one fucking play. And the shit was funny as hell when you look at the highlight when they replay back, because it looked like when the angle that they gave the replay was good from behind, right? It looked like the way J-Bo was throwing, it looked like Hamilton was running the route for him, like as if he was on the Browns. It was like, oh yeah, just throw right. He threw it right to him on an over route, right in his hands, and the nigga dropped it like 8 times. 8 fucking times. That's the game right there. It's over. Because I think at that point it's 24-23 Ravens. Because they had to settle for a field goal. Justin Tucker missed a field goal earlier too. Like, what the fuck is going on with him? It might be, shit. The sun might be setting on that guy soon. But, yeah, it was 24-23 Ravens. They were driving. They were kind of in the field goal range. They probably could have kicked the field goal to win, but it looked like they were trying to just go for the win, which I respected. You got nothing to lose. Your season's already over. Let your nuts hang. J-Bo out there slinging it around. You know what I'm saying? Doing what the fuck he got to do. But yeah, he threw it right to him and he dropped it. To me, that was the game. It's over. Then they come back. Okay, after the drop pick, blown coverages by safeties. Blown coverage on the next play. Touchdown. Said it to me. Right? I'm going to say this right here from some of the... I've been watching a lot of Ravens games. Eddie Jackson. That man is looking like he's looking sus out there. He's looking like a liability, man. I seen it a couple times today. Dropped interception, not being in the right place, getting burnt, or look like blown coverage. Blown coverage on the last one too, getting burnt. I'm like, what the fuck is this man doing out here? This nigga used to be so nice back in the day, man. But I get it. I think he had a couple years ago, broken ankle. He had some type of injury with his knee or his ankle, some shit. I get it. You know what I mean? You a vet, you been in the league for a while, whatever. But nah, son. All the Ravens sign you to do is just sit back there and try and pick the ball off. Now, you ain't got to do, you know what I mean? You ain't got to do too much because they already got mad safeties and DBs and all this shit that should be getting busy anyway. But blown coverage, drop interception, drop pass. That's it. Ball game. It's a wrap. Fuck it. Colts Texans. 23-20 Texans. I feel like we see that kind of score with that kind of game from both of these teams every year. Like, every fucking year it's the same thing. Of course, the Texans are the more stable team. They know how to close it out and win. They should win. They're the better team on paper. They honestly, you ask me, they should whenever they play the Colts, they should be they should be blowing them out or it should be a comfortable win. But they're division rivals. They know each other really well. They always play each other like this. I feel like the score is always 23-20 either way. Every year, it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback, who's playing, who's hurt, who's not. 23-20 every time between both of these teams. But I think that the way that the Texans are coached, scheme constructed, they are built to close out games like that and finish with the W. More stable, you could trust them pulling out the W there. Now we get to the Colts. I mean, Richardson. I mean, I never saw it with him coming out of Florida. I didn't see it while he was at Florida. It didn't look pretty. It didn't look nice. It ain't look good at Florida. And I'm going to just say for right now, I'm right on this one. For right now, so far from what I seen, I'm right. I mean, the bowl is hot garbage. Hot garbage, man. Big arm with a couple wide downfield plays from time to time, here and there. Big arm, you know what I mean? He'll make those downfield throws, and they're like, oh shit, this shit is crazy. Or at the Wild, if you're watching that same game when he does this type of shit, you'll be like, damn, his stat line is like 9 for 21 or some shit at the time. Or it'd be like 7 for 19 when he do shit like that. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Nigga not even getting over 200 yards consistently with all that on. That's because he can't throw on levels. He can't. And like I said, I didn't see it with him at Florida. I for damn sure didn't see it with him when he came out. And I don't see it now. You know what I mean? The ball he can't do shit else but run niggas over and get hurt. He could run, he fast, he a big motherfucker. He be running niggas over this type, but he getting hurt. He can't do nothing but run. Other than that, he can't do nothing but run niggas over and get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a dub, but we'll see. All right, next we got Dolphins, Cards. Arizona with the win, 28-27. Last seconds field goal looked like shit. Kyler Murray still that nigga. Two of them still put up points, but them boys might be filleted now. It might be filet fish on them. Their season is probably chopped. With them losses now, I know too with the injuries, but I mean it's the AFC and then the AFC East, and once again it's the AFC. So crazier things have happened at the end of the year where they could probably fuck around and squeak in that shit. But it's looking like they chopped, and boys might be filet fishes. So Falcons Bucks 36. 31-26 Atlanta. Alright, them niggas bounced back after the Seahawks lost to beat the Bucks again this year. They had to get that dirty bird back on. Cousins still out here flexing, back in his trap. He had this thing out there for a couple touchdowns today. So he did his thing. Baker, still heating shit up. Still out there heating shit up without his weapons. No Mike Evans, no Chris Godwin. I think there was some other injuries also on the team. Still slinging it out there, but shit, 2 picks in the second half. Because in the beginning, this shit was tight. It was 14-14 at halftime. Both of them had 2 touchdowns plus. Baker was like 15-17, clean, no picks. You know what I mean? All that, Kirk Cousins was doing this thing. It was tight. But them 2 picks in the second half, and then having to overcome a double-digit lead late in the game ain't gonna be enough, buddy. It ain't gonna be enough to get the win. And Kirk Cousins, you know what I mean? Kirk Cousins, in Atlanta, they pulled it out. You know what I'm saying? They had their weeks where they look a little, they still playing tight, and then they lose, and they bounce back like, we still on this dirty bird shit. You know what I'm saying? We still out here handling the track. So next we got Jets-Pats, 25-22. At the last second, Pats take the win. Who gives a fuck? Nobody cares. Jets are the motherfucking bums. The Pats, whose roster to us is basically, who the fuck are these niggas? Who are these niggas? But yeah, nobody cares. Packers, Jags, 30-27. Packers. The way that this shit was looking at first, because this was the first game that I was watching for the day. The way it was looking at first, I was like, nigga, fuck it. This is low scoring when I thought it was gonna, for sure go over like 40-something points, maybe hit 50. You know what I mean? Like, shit, maybe hit 60. I was predicting some kind of score like 34-30 for this shit. You know what I mean? Because, both defense could give it up like that with the yardage, But I flipped the channel, I flipped the channel and everything, and I see a notie on my phone. Jordan Love left the game. Then all of a sudden, points. I'm checking back at the stats now while I'm watching Browns-Ravens. I'm looking at the stats on my phone like, yo, like, how the fuck are these niggas scoring points? Like, how are they scoring points? Like, how they doing this with Jordan Love done left the game? And when I checked back again to pay attention a little bit closer, it looked like Josh Jacobs was doing this thing on the ground. They started feeding him heavy. He had a couple TDs today and stuff. And then, I thought it would go OT when I started seeing 27-27, with seconds left in the fourth quarter. So I'm like, oh shit, all right, that's what's up. It's gonna go OT. Crazy, like, see how that going OT, because I know the Jags for the past couple seasons, anytime they go to OT, the two teams kind of be going back and forth and a little bit and shit, but these niggas fuck around and pull it out and win. 30-27 on the field goal. And like I said, I'm like, yo, how the fuck? I don't know how the fuck. These niggas even scored or was getting yardage, because it shows that Malik Willis only threw the ball 5 fucking times. No 100 yards. Threw the ball 5 fucking times. Not even 100 yards on his ledger. So I'm going to really have to check back on that and see the highlights, tap into what happened. I'm going to try and tap into the highlights and the footage on all these games if I get time, to talk on that later on this week and see what happened. But a lot of wild finishes today, which is pretty cool to see. I love all that shit, man, because, like I was saying earlier, points were scored, but plays were made. I seen some highlights, I seen some plays, some interceptions, Hail Marys, all that type of shit today. Um, you know, so it's good to see. It's fun to see shit like that. It's fun to see those type of games. As I'm chopping it up right now, recording this, the boys in the Niners, Dallas that is, and San Francisco, they playing right now. And we know they play each other like it's must-see TV at times. So, we're going to see how that finishes up. And I think that's going to finish in the same way, something tight, like a 3-point game or a 5-point game, and kind of go down to the fourth quarter. But we'll see, because, the Cowboys be flopping hard, too. They fuck around and lay over in the third or the fourth quarter. It'll be like 13-10 to the middle of the third quarter, and then they lay over. Next thing you know, the game end 34-13, San Fran's way, But we'll see how that goes when that finishes up. Definitely want to tap into the highlights and the footage and see the context of some of the games, those tight ones, how they ended, what was going on. We'll get into some of the other ones at the 4 o'clock games. Also, I want to get into that. Seahawks Bills, which I thought was going to be a good one, but we seen the score 31-10, I believe it was, and seeing how that ended. Some of the other games, Saints Chargers, KC and the Raiders. It looked like the Raiders were making it interesting in the beginning. I just didn't feel like watching that game. Kind of got Kansas City fatigue, I guess, at this point, seeing them do their thing. We know they're going to be there. We know what the fuck they're going to do. So I felt like trying to maybe watch another game and stuff. For right now, what I'm going to do is just, we're going to wrap up here on Volume 4, Episode 4. I'm going to get into some more this week, as I said. Trying to tap into some more of the highlights and the other games. Still got Monday Night Football game going tomorrow, the Steelers and Giants. Should be interesting to see, I guess. Interesting football that you probably got out. Well, who knows? They might fuck around and be scoring like 50 points between both of them too. Who knows? Not something that I'm really hot to keep my eye on. I ain't gonna lie about that, but we'll see how that goes. Like I said, gonna tap into all the other things to talk about this week, and also, I got some more shit that we gotta talk about, cause the NBA just got started, it's popping off now. And we gotta get into that too this week. It's already been a few games, like 3 to 5 games now. I caught the Timberwolves Lakers game, Timberwolves Kings game, a Knicks game, a Bulls game. I caught a couple games so far, and they actually been interesting right now. I usually don't watch NBA till later on in the year because it don't mean nothing. Plus, niggas don't want to play. It don't be interesting. Niggas not doing their thing, but it's kind of been interesting to see some shit. And we could tap into that. Definitely got to tap into that NBA this season, talk about all of that shit. I'll be trying to provide another volume, another episode this week soon, maybe 2. You know what I mean? Once I'm able to tap into it all. Just gotta build my rhythm here doing this like I do it for TV. Once again, it's the Franchize guy. Welcome to the franchise, and y'all be easy. Volume 1, you heard?